Ignition. 5, 4, 3. We've got ignition. 2, 1. All right, Shot Town. We've got RIP Takeoff. Welcome, 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 welcome to another edition, Sunday edition of Mouthpiece Included. This is where we talk politics. Some cats like Phil Jackson, they don't like mixing sports with their politics until they say they don't like talking sports and politics. Politics. What's in Phil Jackson's heart? Is he another example of a racist liberal? Yeah, well, that is what we look to unpack here today on Mouthpiece Included. Links pinned in the chat. Pull up. But if you do pull up, don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. Yeah. As always, take this time as we pay some bills. We're paying some bills right now. So take this time to please share this link to your compadres. Big ups to Cinco de Mayo. Cinco. Big ups.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Fair use, y'all. Please like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building.
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a gaggle of girls?
Okay, I'm in my local Ralph's, and this happened.
I don't go to church, and I know God understands. I can
Man, why do they keep the honey around here? Excuse me, you know where the honey is?
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like
Oh,
a gaggle of
cheese
girls?
Al. Who wants cheese head?
I don't go to church, and I know God understands. I can stay on my couch because God is a fan of the Bears.
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a gaggle of girls? The Bears!
I don't go to church, and I know God understands. I can stay on my couch because God is a fan of the Bears.
Who are the guys that are the best in the world and make the rest of the team look like a...
Well, guys, let's go to the swimming pool. Let's go take a shower. Let's go water skiing.
Don't forget to bring your mouthpiece.
There he is.
Be sure to bring a towel so you don't
Be
get
sure to bring
all
your mouthpiece
wet.
so you don't get all wet. In the building. Let's not pretend like we're not. In the building. TATN. Welcome, 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 welcome. Give you a quick show breakdown. How about them Cubs? How about them Sox? We'll touch on that. We're going to do the playoffs. Should the Bulls get with Budenheiser? Or is it Budenheiser? Budenheiser? Maybe this Bud's for you. Should we hire him and fire our current coach? We'll unpack that. We got some bear down, FGB segment. Then, of course, we have our hot topics. Many hot topics. And the co-host, Ace, has picked a booger of the week. We'll let you know what booger he selected to be picked. And, of course, our hottest topic. And this one hurts. smarts a little, but it doesn't surprise me. For damn sure it wouldn't have surprised the late great Malcolm X. Is the Zen master. Master. Another example of a racist liberal. Pull up. The link's in the chat. If you do pull up, for damn sure I better bring your mouthpiece. All right. Let's go ahead and get the resident Jackie Robinson's finest. Manager and coach. I'm 100% sure he can orchestrate a Major League Baseball team.
TATN. Live from Studio 100. I'm well. What up?
What's been going on? What your boys do? I know y'all had a big one last Sunday.
Did we play last Sunday? Baseball.
Or was it
we played Thursday. We played Thursday against Big Baseball, and actually, yeah, it was a pretty big game. They got a big name around here. The head coach or main head coach is a scout for the Cubs, and
he's a Cub Scout.
Yeah, he's a Cub Scout, and he coaches De La Salle High School. So I took my ragtag group over to McWayne Park on 20 and Bridgeport. Bridgeport? You play baseball in Bridgeport? Yeah, I played baseball in Bridgeport, and my two pitchers ended up with a 5-inning no-hitter. We won 6-0.
Shutout, huh?
Yeah, no hit. It was T, and starting pitcher was Eric Woods Jr., and the closer was Deuce. Yeah, so they ended up with no hits, no runs, no score. So we won 6-0.
Got the combined no-hitter against the coach of one of the bougie schools, if you guys don't know.
Well, he wasn't there. He sent one of his minions. And
De La Salle and St. Ignatius, Whitney Young. Those are some of your more bougie schools.
And we stole home in the first inning. They called it Bush League. I was like, you see what this says? It says Jackie Robinson, man. What do you think he does? He steals. So you guys gonna keep running, huh? Oh yeah, we're gonna keep.
Oh wait a minute. So the melanateds aren't supposed to run, and so is stealing home, is that against the rules? Is it
no
in Little League baseball?
No. Every base is open. This is part-time travel. So on Sundays, it's called the Sunday League. So yeah, every base is open. We won last Sunday too. It was cold. It was freezing, but yeah, we won last Sunday 12-6. But yeah, he was upset that we were stealing bases, and and I had a player steal home. So if your kid's not ready to play, they're not ready to defend their home plate, and don't bring them out there. That's all I'm going to say.
What was the score when you sent your kid to the plate?
It was 2-0 then.
Oh, yeah. What are they complaining about?
Yeah, I'm trying to win the game. What are you out here doing?
All right. So, R.I.P. and big ups to J-Dub. R.I.P. to U.S. Olympic gold medalist Tori Bowie. Yeah, she was 7 months pregnant.
I didn't hear
her
that.
body was found in her Florida home. They claim no signs of foul play, but yeah, R.I.P. man, track standout.
Wow, that is some shocking news.
Yeah, and condolences to Tori's family as well.
We just lost a police officer here. Friday night. This is Saturday. Friday night. She was a
24, man.
She's a friend of a friend. Ariana is her first name. And on 81st and Blackstone, she was
off duty.
Yeah, she was shot up. And she was just about to get her master's, man.
Yeah, from Loyola, not from some shithole school, from Loyola.
Yeah. So condolences to the family and friends, and rest in peace, young lady. But from the stories I've heard, she wanted to really make a difference in the community as a new wave of police officer, as opposed to the McGillicuddies or whoever were police officers back in the days when they were walking around with the sticks. So, we haven't gotten the real intel on the situation, but God bless her and her family. And man, that was terrible to hear. 24 years old.
Terrible. Condolences. Yeah, I saw that, man. That's completely awful. And rest in peace, Ariana. Rest in peace. So today's topic is the Zen Master, quote unquote. Another example of a racist liberal. You guys can pull up. The link is in the chat. You can call in 424-900-6945. That's 424-900-6945. So let's go ahead and jump to it, man. How about them? Wait a minute. We're not talking about the Bulls. Screw the Bulls. We're going to talk. Well, we'll get them in here, but we'll jump off into the Bear Down segment. Tori said R.I.P. Yeah, his namesake, and then Ariana.
Yeah.
When I saw 24-year-old off-duty cop, I was just praying it wasn't Aunt B's daughter. You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah. She was same body type, frame, college graduate.
Yeah. It was eerie.
Unfortunately, these young ladies are going to get a career in CPD, but I just want to know what happened.
Yeah, it could have been domestic, but I don't have any information to speculate. Yeah,
but it's an eerie story. Strange.
All right, so we're all worn out through the NFL draft, but last week we covered rounds 1 and 2. So I just really wanted to run through round 3 and then see if you have any gems from the later rounds as well that you think polls did good on.
Right.
Bears started round 3 and they picked up Zach Pickens, defensive tackle from South Carolina, athletic stud, but apparently he's not processing.
You can't process it. You gotta get him.
The ball is snapped. He doesn't move.
It's gonna be a project. He's got to figure out what to do when they snap the ball, and, whether he's going left or right or forward or backwards. So, he's going to be a project. We'll work on it in OTAs. OTAs and minicamp coming up.
Well, we could have had a stud, and our 3-tech problems would have been finished had we just drafted the 3-tech. I'm going to harp on it.
All right. You have the right until he proves himself different.
Okay.
And if he doesn't prove himself different, then Jalen Carter will be the Mitch Trubisky of Ryan Pohl's career.
Absolutely. Well, it won't seal his fate. I mean, the guys that got did you see the melanated special teams coach? Boy, he's like a kid in the candy shop. Because we've been talking about how he ain't had no talent, boy.
Yeah, nothing to work with. Oh boy. Oh boy.
And they still led the league in some metrics. Like they were like top 3 in return yards on the kickoff.
He just didn't have no damn talent. Now he's got some talent, something to work with, and he's got super fast guys. In the 3rd and 4th rounds, and free agents they didn't pick up. We'll get to that later.
And now undrafted Sanborn can be out there covering some punts and kickoffs.
Out there murdering people on special teams. You can't say murder, but doing the best he can on special teams.
Well, you can't say murder, but they love to say violent. They don't talk about Walter Payton. He was a violent running back.
He's a violent runner, yeah. Sanborn can go back and take his ball hunting skills to the special teams unit. And he can fill in the linebacker at time.
Exactly. So the Bears, we did something in that round because apparently we only had 1 pick. Is that true in the second round?
They keep saying these guys are the steals of the draft, the 3rd round pick, 4th round picks. So we'll see. It's all speculation until they put the pads on and get smacked in the mouth. So
yeah, they're saying Roshan Johnson, could flirt. First of all, they said he's a beast on special teams, but they said he could flirt with a backup running back position.
Oh yeah. He's the backup out of Texas. He was backing up the first round pick out of Texas, Bijan Robinson, and he also came into Texas as a quarterback. So they switched him from quarterback to the running back position. So I think he can process. We can process.
No, they probably switched him because he couldn't process.
He couldn't process what it was. Okay.
Yeah,
he was just athletic. So he
was just an athlete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna move you. We don't care about Lamar Jackson.
You
you want to keep your scholarship, you're going to play this position.
So, as a backup, now they picked him in the 4th round. So, there's going to be some competition in that running back room.
Yeah.
Bears. So get ready. And, and if you have a special teams coach, one of those plays where you want to pitch it back to this running back and maybe have him throw it for 50 yards for a touchdown. Yeah, we can do something like that.
If he can process it.
If he can process that, yeah. We get to look the pre-snap look that was determined last week in practice. He gets that, then maybe we can roll out one of those trick plays.
Well, like you said, the running back room will be crowded, and we're going to cover who's on the clock, meaning who's on the short list. I'm not going to mention Ebner right now. That's your guy, but we'll talk. They're still talking about this guy.
I swear to God, he must be a stud in practice. I showed you his preseason film, so he must be killing it in practice. But
he's still killing in practice because they keep talking about him. And Ebner, I'm like, man, that guy couldn't bring my DoorDash.
He get it there pretty quick, unless he dropped it.
He'd drop it. No, he wouldn't drop it, but he definitely would violate the safe delivery policies.
Give my man a break. He gets one more preseason to make it happen out there.
And we picked up Tyler Scott, a Bearcat. He looks like a Pookie, but this kid, I'll tell you what, I know a football. He looks poor, hungry, and stupid. Just like the Bears want him. That's what one of the guys in the organization said. Let's not deny it. That's how the Bears want them. Poor, hungry, and stupid.
Well, that's not the take that the Bears have on their players.
The colored regime doesn't have that take.
You can't talk about these kids. They just love the game. You don't know about their processing skills till they get out there on the field.
But that's another crowded room. Our wide receiver room all of a sudden.
Oh yeah. You think they were bringing those special teams guys back to make the room crowded? Now they drafted a guy. They got DJ Moore off that trade. Ooh-wee.
DJ Moore. I mean, we got so many new pieces. It's hard to even focus on it, bro.
Now, I guess he can't put his damn offense together based on these pieces. I don't know what he's doing right now, but I'll be redoing the playbook right now and putting some plays in there. He's processing. Okay. Yeah. He works 85 hours a week.
All right. So in the 6th round, the pole position, he went out there and picked up Terrell Smith, cornerback out of Minnesota. You probably saw him play if you watched some U of I games. I didn't.
Oh, yeah. He's I haven't watched many U of I games. I watched Big Ten games. But he's a stud. He's definitely another steal in the 6th round. The cornerback room is going to be pretty competitive too, after picking up the kid from Miami and this kid from Minnesota. So, those guys who are resting on their laurels, you better get ready for training camp because these guys are coming to take your positions. Because they're talking about moving and Gordon, who they drafted last year, to the slot and starting the kid that they picked up out of Miami this year. So yeah, it's gonna be some.
That's what they originally envisioned Gordon as. You know,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
supposedly he's very important in the Lovey 2. That's all they're playing is the Tampa
Lovey
2.
But if you got studs and kids processing out there in every level of that damn defense, it's gonna be hard for teams to score.
Yeah, they call it FBI. What is it called? What is that acronym for? We're not talking about the Federal Bureau of Investigations, but it's intelligence, ball.
Female body inspector or something?
Yeah, no, but I've been hearing the coaches refer to FBI, and then they bring in Peanut Tillman. Why'd you bring him in? Because he's in the FBI. I mean, he's a Fed. They want to make sure nobody's pushing shit around the city of Chicago and using their NFL money as a laundromat.
What was the player that used to play for the Bears? That was on Peanut's watch. He probably snitched on him.
Yeah, Peanut
Sam Hurd.
Yeah, snitched on him. You probably set him up. Yeah,
I got a guy that needs some stuff.
Yeah. Oh man. So Travis Bell. I mean, this guy's drafted in the 7th round. Kennesaw State.
Yeah. They say he's got a.
I don't want to hear this crap. Come on, man.
He's got a chance at a start, but he's supposed to be a good special teamer, and he's supposed to be a rotational player, maybe.
Yeah,
and that Lovey too.
Go out and get a 3-tech, But I will say this: when you look at the whole draft, I think I graded a B+. When you still consider yes, because the way we're set up for next year, and I've said this before, Ace. We've got to go out, no trading down next year. The roster's loaded with talent. Go out and get some. Yes.
Yeah, whatever stud comes up when we're picking, go get him.
Go get him. No more trading down. If this guy can only, and we got him in the 7th round because nobody else knew he could play, and we didn't even think he could play.
Yeah, trade those picks next year. We're moving up. We're going to be number 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the draft. We traded all. Every round, so we can get 4 first-round damn picks, and we're going to get every stud that's available.
Yeah, because we're going to need somebody who can actually make this team. With the competition they already got, you need guys who can make the team. No sense drafting somebody you're going to cut.
Yeah, you don't need those picks next year. I mean, the special team is going to be solid. All those 1-year contract, those guys are gone, and you're filling out your roster with your, your draft picks this year and. Those studs you're going to get next year. So, yeah, let's go get some studs. You got 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s. And whatever the hell we pick up after we get rid of some bums this year that don't want to play. So, go Bears.
Yeah, and then we'll pick up more because we're number 1 when players get cut, on the release wire. Yeah. We got first right of refusal.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
What's up. So
they said they go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, bro.
They said they also in the undrafted free agents. They hit a home run with the.
Yeah, of course they did. We're going to talk that next week. We're going to get into that next week. All the UDAs and listen, all right.
I was just speaking of one player. I don't know about all the rest of them.
I mean, they keep bringing in athletes and saying his upside is immeasurable. But then it's been proven that you can take a guy like Jack Sanborn, whose upside is down, his ceiling is the floor, and he was a beast last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, every player that is a stud hasn't been drafted in the 1st round, hasn't come from a big school, hasn't come from a small school. So if you got guys that know the game, that can play the game, and you got a general manager or a scouting team that can find them, go out and get them.
Yeah, football players. That's who we need now next year, Poles. We need, and all your free agents, go out and get football players. I don't care about the damn measurables. Bring football players to this team. And again, I said it, my original prediction was Fields MVP season after next, but I bumped it up after seeing some flashes. He's Justin Fields will be top 3 in MVP voting this season. Like I said, and I actually feel like he can win it, but it makes you feel like a homer to a certain extent. I don't think this guy's here anymore. Hey guys, please like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building. All right. So I did want to get into, as we wait for the co-hosts to come back, and remember I pinned the link in the chat. You can pull up. It's always an open panel. All right. So just in time, he's putting in the work. He's your top player in the organization, and just in time decided to show up to the rookie minicamp. He's not out at a retreat, in a cave somewhere doing ayahuasca. Okay. He's not out partying with the owner of the football team and going to weddings and things like that. This guy, just in time, is putting in work. He's out there, getting a feel for the rookies, teaching them how to be football players and men. And so big ups to just in time. And the coaches have been saying that his footwork looks feathery. He's been working on that short game. We all saw he appeared to have a little trouble. His intermediate throws, right on point. We know he could throw the deep ball. Didn't have much opportunity for that because, we didn't have any receivers and very little pass blocking as far as the deep ball. But, if I'm being honest, those quick screens, those real quick passes, he seemed to have struggled quite a bit. But according to Getsy and Flus, his footwork is looking rather magnanimous. So we also want to get into who's on the clock. So we indicated how deep the running back room is, how deep the wide receiver room is. The offensive line room is deep. I don't know how much talent they have, but it's deep. The wide receiver room is deep. Our secondary, they're keeping all them. Our linebackers are looking good. So, we need to decide who's on the clock. I'm gonna, start the bidding with Trashton Ebner. This kid has all the measurables, all the upside. I do believe he was a 6th-round draft pick. He shines in the preseason games. And to Ace's point, apparently he's shining in the practice. But Trashton Ebner, game time, he's lucky to get you 1.7 yards per carry. That's not going to do it in today's NFL. Trashton Ebner makes my list of being on the clock. Also on the clock. This one pains my heart because I believe this kid's going to be special. But at the same time, there's been a lot of chatter. He disappointed many of the Chicago Bears faithful. Dropped punt returns, things of this nature. Costed us a couple games single-handedly. But he shined towards the end of the season, making some big catches and some nice runs on little scat plays. So if you haven't figured it out, Velus Jones, he makes my list of being on the clock. And if you guys know if you could think of any other immediate players who jump out at you as being on the clock, do put it in the chat. Next up, being on the clock. we're going to move over to the Bears offensive line. Now, we picked up a right guard in the draft pick, so obviously, he's not on the clock. I'm interested in knowing where they're going to put some of these pieces. We have a stalwart at left tackle. He was drafted, I think, the 6th or 7th round from Boise last year, so he's definitely not on the clock. Hopefully he's working on his strength. They're getting him some steroids or what have you, whatever he needs. But your left tackle is solid. Center position. Those guys are on the clock. All right. I think that Ryan Poles is going to go out and pick up a center on the free agent, because when you have a young line, the most important position on the line is the center, so that he can call the protections. Actually, we have a young quarterback as well. So I think at this point, the Bears need a veteran center who all he does is play center. That position is underrated. And get out of here. Get out of here. Okay. That position is underrated. So we're going to bear with us. Getting a message from the co-host. Chicago, bear with us. Please like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building. Please like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building. Okay, let's see. Offense. None of this. This is ridiculous. All right. I would have loved to have heard the co-host who's on the clock. He doesn't like Velus Jones much. But Cody Whitehair, you're on the clock. Okay. He's got a $14.1 million salary cap hit. He's on the clock. Cody Whitehair. Tevin Jenkins, you're off the clock. You're off the clock. Lucas Patrick, you're on the clock. Sam Mustaphyfer, you're on the clock. Let's see here.
All right, back Tim Bob. Shout out to the crack production staff working on a Sunday. Bill and Bob back there, got things going. I don't know what happened, but
It's all good, bro. So what we were talking about, well, first we talked about Justin Time.
Right.
He wasn't out doing ayahuasca in a dark cave.
No?
Yeah, he wasn't out partying with the owner at the wedding.
No.
This kid showed up to rookie camp.
Yeah, he wants to win.
Yeah. He said his footwork he's obviously been working with his footwork. And he's been working on that short ball. I hope, like I said, he was working on that pump fake.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he's running, he should just be.
Most importantly, the pump fake with the speed he has and the ability to change the play with the pump fake or a pass or a short pass or hopefully he was watching some Patty Mahomes Sideshow Bob video as well as working on the pump fake to to utilize that fake and his speed to make every play either a RPO or a play action or a run or a deep ball. You don't know what the hell you're defending when you're coming up there. If he pumps fakes, then rolls out and spins back, and they got a damn run play called on the sideline. I mean, there's no way you can stop it. So hopefully Getsy is listening and is developing that playbook to make the Bears one of the most formidable offenses in the NFL. We'll see.
Yeah, and who's on the clock, fella? I mentioned your boy Trashton Ebner. I know you're high on him. You want to move him all the way up to number 1 in the depth chart.
No, he definitely should have been cut after last season. But, hey, you're going in the training camp, you drafted this guy, and, hopefully.
You drafted him in the 6th, 7th round, and you want to cut Vilas, who you drafted in the 3rd round. But go ahead.
Well, he's on the clock, too.
I put him on the clock, but that's just because the fans don't know better.
Yeah. I mean, he's on the clock, but I believe he'll come back and have a strong second season. We'll see, and I'll be willing to eat crow on Vilas Jones if he does what he's supposed to do in special teams and in the passing game. That Rentry type player we've been looking for the last 40 years.
Scatback.
Yeah, that scatback kind of guy that has undeniable speed and it can process. All he needs. Well, they say about a jugs machine for his house. So that's pretty important for somebody who had problems holding on to the ball or catching the ball. So,
if I'm an NFL team and I had running backs and wide receivers, I'd supply them with a damn jugs machine.
What is it, $1,000 or less? Come on.
Yeah, even if it's 10 stacks. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'd supply them with their own. If you want one, come get it. It's yours. It might be refurbished.
I got a warehouse full of them. Just come get one. If that's going to make you a better football player, and you're going to use it, besides coming to our state-of-the-art facility they got up there in Lake Forest now. Yeah, go home and, instead of going to the club or
playing video games
and whatever stuff these young guys do nowadays, go work on the jugs machine every night or every day when you come home for practice. Have your meal, then work on it some more, then get ready for practice. I mean, come on.
I think he might need his eyes checked. He's, he could be like that drop dead gorgeous quarterback we had. We got him from Denver. What was his name? Yeah, he's got some sort of diabetes.
Diabetic.
Yeah, where he can't see at night.
Yeah, well, hey, I mean, he was playing in the dome, so he dropped the ball in Minnesota, and So, hey, but it never hurts to check anything. We got all kind of medical coverage for them while they're playing. So take advantage, because once you stop playing, they're not covering your medical anymore.
Well, we both got Vilas. How about Equinamia St. Brown?
Well, I mean, I would assume he's on a 1-year deal with no signing bonus. So, he's on the damn clock. Yeah, man, the other guy, Pettis.
Pettis is definitely on the clock.
Yeah, they're on the clock.
Pettis is 100% on the clock.
But, those guys, you're not counting on to make the roster. You can switch them back and forth in between the practice squad based on the talent that you achieved through this draft and your unrestricted free agents. But by the time you get through the damn training camps and OTAs, and those guys don't look like they're going to make the team, they got to go.
Well, one thing Getsy said in an interview, he said, when they were asking him about these competitions and these cuts, he said these things normally work themselves out, and he didn't want to mention the injury word because, it's a taboo.
Yeah.
But you remember last season, man, in camp and coming into the preseason and starting to see our receivers were falling down like they were getting hurt. Right. Yeah, it's like we had Anthony Davis out there at every position.
Yeah. All these Pringles and Prangles and
they were hurt.
Vonners and Dixons. Every week.
We still got the guy from the Patriots who we picked up?
No. It was no.
He was hurt.
He was hurt. And I guess he wasn't shining in practice like Tristan Ebner. So
I
they
tell
let
you
him.
what, Tristan Ebner, I don't know what he did to Poles, but Poles absolutely loves. He's banking his entire career on Trashton Ebner. Now, and a guy like Trashton, he'll go to Green Bay and average 125 yards a game.
Yeah, him and Jordan Love.
Yeah.
They'll be bear killers for the rest of their careers, right? He's a mutter. He's a mutter. He likes to play in the mud.
Now I named some offensive linemen who are on the clock.
That's a pretty competitive room too. I mean,
Cody Whitehair, I'm cutting him. He's a $14 million salary cap hit.
Cody Whitehair? Nah.
Yeah, this season. Yes. It's something about his his contract. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a $14.1 million salary cap hit. I'm not taking 14. No.
They're not in the salary cap position where they're hurt. So, between both of them were hurt, him and Lucas Patrick, the former Fudge Packer.
Another one on my short list. Put him on the clock. Lucas Patrick. I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of hearing their names. Looks like we lost this fella again. I'm tired of hearing their names. It's utterly disgusting. Now, in the linebacker room, one thing I wanted to point out before we move on off the Bears, our linebackers and our secondary, they're everything that our D-line is not. So, it appears that we can get multiple coverage sacks, meaning our secondary is doing such a great job of locking people down. Our D-line doesn't have to be as efficient as far as that goes, as far as getting pressure on the quarterback, because of the amount of time it will take for one of the receivers to get open. So those are the things we're looking at, as far as that goes. Yeah, as I was talking about the coverage, the secondary and the linebackers, having being so good, they're everything the D-line isn't. And, we can get a lot of coverage sacks based on what they're doing out there.
Right. As opposed to, looking for your defensive line to force ball pressure, and then the ball will be coming out quick, and then you can jump routes. If you got coverage in the secondary unit and your linebackers, it might help with the deficiencies you have at defensive line, which we'll see. We'll see who wants a Lamborghini truck next year. Who wants the bag next year coming off the Bears defensive line? Who's hungry?
So you got nobody on the clock off the offensive line?
No, I wouldn't say that. They got this Leatherwood kid on the roster. They brought him in from.
He was a high draft pick.
Yeah, he was a number 1 pick for Vegas, out of Alabama. And then, they played him a couple games, and then they said he's a project. What the hell is going on? I mean, I know you want to develop players, and if that's their strategy, say that. We want to develop offensive linemen, but we got to figure out what's going on. Larry Borum, he tweeted after they drafted a tackle in the draft, LOL. He quickly took that down. Somebody probably called him like, hey, dude, you on the clock.
LOL.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he'd be a serviceable, backup type of guy, but you're right. He's on the clock.
Right. So why are you tweeting something after the Bears draft somebody at your position, especially for a management team that didn't draft you? They have no allegiance to you at all. So
exactly. And they gave you all the opportunity in the world last season.
Yeah, and you couldn't win the starting position. So it's Jenkins is on the clock too. They want to put this rookie in at right tackle. I'm sure he'd be I like him.
No, you got to move Jenkins. He's my left guard.
I like him because he's one of those players with the nasty disposition that you need.
Yeah, he's violent.
Yeah, he's violent.
You can say it. Just because he's pink doesn't mean he's not violent.
He's not pink. He's one
you
of those.
Keep saying that. He's some sort of ginger.
He's one of those mixed breeds, I think.
Ginger. No, but well, let's talk about it. Your starting line. I got Tevin at the left guard. I got the left tackle. What's his name? The guy who can't take bullets.
Braxton Jones.
Yeah, I got Braxton Jones at my left tackle. I got Tevin at my left guard.
All right.
My right guard is the guy we just brought in, who's a perennial All-Pro.
Nate Davis. Stud.
Yes. My right tackle is this draft pick we got.
All
and
right.
who do you got at center?
You get.
That's what I'm saying.
$14 million. Whitehair's got to play.
Yeah, $14 million. He's got to play or get cut.
Yeah. So I mean, if he can't pan it out, if he can't beat out Lucas Patrick but both of these guys are gonna get hurt during the season. They need a younger player.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But they don't have that player yet. They got to get him next year, I guess.
Or get him a free agent, maybe use a 4th round draft pick or trade for him or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you'll see what's available. But yeah, you got to go Whitehair at center.
I like Tevin in the run blocking, man. I can't take him off the field. Like you said, he's nasty. He's a bear.
Yeah, he's a road grader. He's a bear.
He's an Anthony Davis out there.
Whatever position they put him in, leave him in. As long as he keeps his mouth shut and
stays healthy.
Yeah, stays healthy and goes out there and do what he's supposed to do in whatever position they bring him in, and he'll be fine. I know everybody wants to start. Yeah, that's where the money's at. But
so we got colored offensive line, huh? Melanated, except for maybe the center. The center is the position where you got to have that drop dead gorgeous white guy who can process.
That can process,
especially when you got that dirty quarterback. Yeah, you got that dirty quarterback back there that know what he's doing. Can't even get him in and out of the huddle. I'd have the center calling the plays.
Unless we get some of the Pouncey brothers, one of those guys here in Chicago. No.
I'd have a center running the huddle.
Yeah. They're calling it on the sideline through the helmet because they can't process.
All right, man. So I want to wrap this up with Arlington Heights. We've been talking about the stadium and, Papa Bear Hallis Stadium, whatever they're going to call it. It's going to be named after some conglomerate corporation that doesn't pay taxes.
And it's going to go out of business in 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, Arlington Heights, these conservative parts of the Chicago area.
Yeah.
They don't like taxes, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
so they sure made a shrewd move and bumped up the assessed the value of that property they bought, and they jacked up the taxes and they want to keep the black man out of there. That black man showed up negotiating. It was like, wait a minute, is this redlining? So I'm going to say this. Chicago Bears. Oh,
there we go.
He's here. Yeah. Chicago, start your camera. Chicago Bears need to they already bought the land. Yeah. That's what's messed up.
They say one of those demolition. I mean, everybody will come in. It's just a negotiation tactic for Arlington Heights, I believe now. I mean, I'll probably never see a game out there. It'll probably be cheaper for me to fly somewhere out of town and get some tickets to watch a Bears game than it will be for me to go up to Arlington Heights. So.
They need again, it's too late now, but they should have built over there on the southeast side.
They had no interest. No interest. Because they would have to develop the entire neighborhood. And some pink person would have came like, yeah, you can't tear all the slum housing down to build a football stadium and
Bro, they got the land, man. Coach took me over there, man. It used to be, these closed down factories and all of that. They got the land over there, man. I would have extended the Metro train to go straight into the stadium.
I'd increase the infrastructure as far as the yeah, but you got to increase the infrastructure as far as the highway. The only thing going that direction is 41. the extension from Lakeshore Drive. So that means Sundays you wouldn't be able to use Lakeshore Drive because if there's a Bears game, it'd be absolute chaos. So they'd have to bring an overpass over from, I don't know, maybe from the Dan Ryan that take you all the way to the.
I don't know what this guy's internet's doing today. You're frozen there, fella. I think you've been hacked. So what he's saying is the infrastructure on the southeast.
They have to build an overpass from the highway or increase or tear down them houses to make the Lakeshore Drive like 4 or 5 lanes going to the stadium over there. And I don't think.
Yeah, this fella's.
A lot of them houses, it's time for them to go. Just pay the people whatever they want.
Yeah. What do you call that? Eminent
domain. Yeah, they've done that for years.
Well, I mean, you raise a good point. Out here in Inglewood, when they rebuilt this stadium, there's a freeway that's right off Century, less than a mile from it's an exit that was already there, less than a mile from the stadium. So that was important.
Yeah. Also, they had the land that they daily acquired for the Olympics down there where Michael Reese Hospital used to be. They could have built a new stadium there. So I think it was just a lack of
wanting to be in the city.
Well, actually, it wasn't a lack of negotiation. If the city owned the land by Michael Reese Hospital, you got to pay the city what they want. So it was probably they're looking to do the same deal that they had with Soldier Field. We'll build the stadium. We'll own the stadium. You can play here, and we'll lease it to you. And the Bears were like, yeah.
Or we'll own the land.
Yeah. Like McDonald's Corporation. Yeah. So the Bears probably had, they probably tried to work something out, but knowing the city of Chicago, it just didn't work out. So they're going all. Well,
let me tell you something. If this melanated president can't get it done, he's on the clock. All right, bear down, FGB. Today's topic is the Zen, quote, master, end quote, Phil Jackson. Just another example of a racist liberal. Pull up links in the chat. Well, we don't know. He's, his posse's on Broadway. But Budenheiser fired.
What?
Before we ask you if you take calls, because I know you like to take calls. This guy takes calls from anybody. But do you agree with this guy being fired? You remember he's the first coach since the melanated coach, Mike Brown, had best record in basketball with the Cleveland Cavaliers and got canned.
Well, if you have a higher standard for your organization than, making it to the play-in game or the first round, hey, and you got an MVP type candidate, perennial on your team, this isn't acceptable. You got to go. So we can get somebody in here that can get this done.
Yeah, we got guys who can't process. They don't make adjustments. They don't know how to put the top defensive player in the league on Jimmy buckets when he's going crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a decision that's got to come from, the top down. Because if the general manager isn't willing to get rid of the coach, then you got a clean house. I know they just did it finally for the first time ever, but you got to get these guys out of there. If he wants to just add a 3-point shooter from college or free agency, and hopefully that makes them a better team that gets them to the first round of the playoffs. I don't understand the mission. So
well, they were saying that even when they won the chip, people were questioning his game time decisions. It's like they were winning in spite of the coach. Yep. I think we lost him again.
Well, I'm thinking of the Bulls. I'm back. Jim, Bob. Yeah, the internet. All right.
Yeah. Now, how do you think Udoka feels? Man, had he not just signed with Houston, he probably would have been coaching Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, he should have came to Chicago is the way I feel. If you're really trying to win, I don't give a damn if you did just get his guy an extension last offseason that he didn't deserve. If you're really trying to win in Chicago, there's no way you shouldn't have went after Udoka to bring your team to the next level. Because your current coach has brought them as far as he can. It's time for him to go.
So are you taking calls as the GM for Budenholzer?
I'm not convinced that he was a great coach.
Do you think he's better than who we have?
Well, that comes to a personnel standpoint. Somebody can roll the ball out there when you got an MVP out there that's dominating and ride his coattails to a championship. But can you?
That Ace ain't taking calls. You wouldn't take calls from this guy's agent? That's surprising.
No. Not
you hang up on him?
No, actually, I'm sorry. I would take the call.
I don't know what's going on with Jim's internet here today. He'll be back any second, hopefully. So he said he would take the call, but he doesn't sound like he's high on this kid. For me, I'd stay with who we got since we just re-signed him, and I'm not into throwing money away, giving these guys guaranteed money, and then they get to walk off and
do with the current roster.
All right, looks like he's back here. He's back, but we cut his camera off because he's not on. Cut yourself back on when you get yourself together. But yeah, to my point, these guys who are having, they're getting this guaranteed money. These coaches, you're going to you're going to coach until your contract's up.
Sorry, my production staff at Club Studio 100. They're still celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco.
They put the tequila down, Jim. But anyway, as I was saying, yes, I'm going to take calls.
Yeah, I know you're
on
going
that
to take
coach.
Calls. This guy takes calls from everybody.
I'm going to take calls because I want to hear his philosophy on what he can do with our roster. And, but it all goes up to GM and the president, who I assume I think it's still Paxson, to get rid of everybody. We got to retool the damn roster and start trying to win again. Because I don't think that they're set up to do anything but to get to the play-in game or maybe the first round.
Well, where is Budenholzer from? Is he from one of these shithole countries?
Of course he is.
Yes,
or he might be from Milwaukee. Who knows? But he lucked into a championship with an MVP. I mean, a guy that couldn't be stopped during that year. So, hey, I can't say he's a great coach. There's been a number of coaches that have been let go of in LA and here in Milwaukee based on the fact that they had superior talent and they should have won the damn championship just by rolling the ball out there. So I would have been making a call to Udoka and trying to get here in Chicago. You're selling them on a team that Michael built. Maybe he could have brought him in to help Zach LaVine process the game a little better and put us in a position to win.
All right. I'm moving LaVine and shithole Vukovic. I'm moving them. I'm packaging it up for the guy who Draymond knocked out, Jordan Poole, and Draymond Green. That's what I'm doing for the Bulls. I'm taking that call. You guys can take LaVine.
Is Draymond a sign and trade? This is last year? I think it's contract.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I'm taking Draymond. You can take shithole Vukovic, and you can take Levine. Golden State would love to have a high yellow guy like Levine.
Oh yeah, you fit right in.
Fit right in.
You're on a high yellow team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
oh yeah.
And then we get to get up from under that contract that Levine has, and move on from there.
Yeah. I mean, would you want Poole or Wiggins? Wiggins is mental.
Yeah, I'm taking Poole. Yeah. It's not I like Wiggins. I just thought that Poole would be a better opportunity and it's better for Golden State if they gave us Poole, because Levine is the same similar type player as Poole, offensive minded. I would prefer Wiggins, but I don't think that Golden State would be willing to part with Wiggins. All right, this guy's frozen again. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Let's get off those. Go ahead, cut your camera back on. Now you're back.
Just call him and tell him we paid the bill, Jim. Back from close to Studio 100. I think he would be a better fit, especially color-wise. You're replacing a light skin for light skin. Plus, his dad went to Simeon High School.
Yeah, high yellow for high yellow. This guy's got Chicago roots, and you know what I mean. He's from Milwaukee out there. He personally grew up in Milwaukee. Him and Draymond Green definitely keep him in line. And toughen us up with the Draymond move. I think that'll be good for both teams. Now, let's move on. Emmitt Smith was in an interview, and they asked him how's he feel about guys who's never laced them up, commentating about football and making comments about football. What happened, fella? I don't know what's going on with your Wi-Fi. All right, so we're going to just play the volume, and this is fair use, of the Emmitt Smith interview.
Hot take machine sports guys
Fair
lately.
Use.
Skip Bayless's, that's kind of how they make their living, and how, as an athlete, especially that was playing at the level that you were playing at, and I mean busting ass on the level that you were busting it, to then have people on television that are like, their whole business is to just try to get you upset, people upset, whatever it is. Did that drive you crazy?
It drove me nuts. It drove me nuts that someone that was not qualified to play my game is talking about my game and talking about me as an individual player when they don't know nothing about my sport. Never played the sport. Don't have the courage to get out there and play the sport. Ticks me off when someone has been given so much credibility or given a microphone to talk about something that they're not qualified to talk about. It's something that he read about or something that he heard from someone else. It's not something that he experienced. And so when you sit up here and you say to Shannon Sharp, Tom Brady is better than you, you're talking about two different positions. And not only that, but the optics, a white guy and a black guy, to me, is borderline racist.
We've been talking a lot about
Now, is he pulling the race card? Lot to unpack there. There's one thing if, coming up, me and the guys, if we ever find ourselves roped into a debate, a sports debate, at some point we'd say, wait a minute, this guy's never laced them up. He has no idea, what's going on. He's never laced it up. These sports, it's a profession. I mean, yeah, you could talk to me about, what if I was a commentator at brain surgery? And I sat up there and look at this guy. He's going in and he's removing the cerebellum, but he probably should have did this and that. And I've never even been a nurse's assistant. I haven't even changed a bedpan. So we just listen to Emmitt Smith
Yeah.
And he said it was borderline racist, which we covered. When Skip Bayless told Shannon, "Shut up and sit down," I slapped his
I
Will
slapped
Smith.
you
Tom
monkey.
Brady was a better football player. These guys need to be coming back with, yeah, but you're no Howard Cosell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know Bob Costas. Yeah, you're sitting here with me. Think Bob Costas would be sitting there? He had his own show for 30 damn years.
What awards are you winning? You know what I mean? I'm in the Hall of Fame. Right. But to Emmett's point, he's a Hall of Famer. Some think the greatest back. We definitely don't think that here, but the greatest back in the history of football.
Yardage wise.
What's your response to his commentary? Do you ultimately agree that guys who haven't laced them up really should take a big cup at STFU or what?
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that you would, put yourself out there with a position telling a Hall of Fame tight end, a guy that was drafted late in the draft and made it to the Hall of Fame and went on to have a career doing the same thing you're doing, in addition to his Hall of Fame football career, there's no way you can criticize him or anything that he's doing just because he has a comment on your drop dead gorgeous quarterback. Tom Terrific. So yeah.
Well, guys like Skip say they've been covering it for so long and that makes them able to process it.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, you've been covering the toilet for a long time, your whole life. That makes you a plumber.
Yeah, it's like if I was a fan at Jackie Robinson and I've been at every game for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm there, managing your kids and and commentating about it. I think they can do it, but I think they need to have some respect on these players' names and some humility.
Absolutely, definitely some more respect and humility. I guess when they get to a certain point, as far as contract wise for them, they feel that they're untouchable. Their commentary and their insight allegedly is top notch. So, no matter what, this guy who couldn't process enough to be a quarterback is telling me that, what I'm saying has more media insight than anything that he can give to the conversation. So I think it's just it's a matter of smugness and being associate of Smug Rogers.
I'm still waiting for Skip. You're just a big lip monkey. I'm just waiting for him to say that to
go ahead.
Shannon.
That'd be Shannon's last day. All right, Skip. The podcast is going well. And right here, right now, I'm finna slap the taste out your mouth.
Shannon will be laughing. All right. As long as you ain't talking about LeBrick James, Shannon is cool.
You don't care. Just keep cashing those checks.
All right. So today's topic is the Zen Master. Another example of a racist liberal. Pull up the links in the chat. We're going to briefly cover Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant releases text messages. He says that he released them due to multiple civil lawsuits, claiming that he's the whistleblower in this whole thing. And that this is just a filthy Democrat attack on Republican leadership. Yeah, I mean, these texts, we're not going to say Brent Favre's a criminal and he stole the money.
He's a scumbag. Never going to say that.
Yeah, we're not going to say any of that.
No.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But allegedly, these text messages aren't good for Brent Favre's team while he's out here suing media pundits for calling him a scumbag.
Yeah. Well, it's just that he's got his lawyer team, trying to go on the offensive instead of just being on the defensive of what's going on, and from him stealing the damn money. So it's up to them to to get something done. So what do? You say, yeah, I'm going to sue you guys for coming up with these particular set of lies because nothing's been proven, and it's just a matter of the time frame of court of law, Supreme Court, appeals court. So he stole enough money so he can pay the lawyers. Allegedly, if they win, the state will have to pay the lawyers or whoever's going after him. So it's Brett Favre is allegedly a scumbag. He stole money from the state welfare system of Mississippi by not making these speeches, PSAs, or whatever he did, or setting up the volleyball stadium for his daughter. And it's a travesty that he's allowed to maliciously file lawsuits against the media to protect his own back and give himself more time. But when you're rich and you're privileged, these are the things you do to protect yourself. Just i.e., what's your president's name? 45. That's his number. Is doing in his current trial, where he's being sued and now is this a civil trial? He's being sued and prosecuted for rape and all kind of heinous things. But
yeah, well, looks like we just lost Jim. But your take on that, full disclosure, I absolutely despise the Green Bay Packers and everything they stand for. I don't personally despise Brent Favre, but Brent Favre is not making it easy. In my opinion, allegedly, all these guys are criminals. From the governor all the way down to Brett Favre, allegedly, in my opinion. So there needs to be criminal charges filed against Brett Favre. Let's go ahead and pull him out in front of the public square, drag him out, and take him through the legal process, criminal process, for allegedly stealing money from the most needy people in the most needy state in the history of these United States of America. All right, you guys, pull up. Topic: is the Zen Master another example of a racist liberal? Pull up. The link is pinned in the chat. Want to talk NBA playoffs. A lot of talk about the Chef Curry being the point guard GOAT after his magnificent Game 7 that he played. I believe it was a home game. No, it was on the road in Sacramento, which made it even more magnificent. So just want to hear from the chat. Who's your greatest point guard of all time? I think we did a show on that here on Mouthpiece included. Anybody who knows me, I've been a big Magic Johnson fan. Absolutely loved his approach to the game. Jesus. Absolutely loved his approach to the game. Tragedy. Magic wasn't a big defender. Wasn't your greatest shooter. But he had leadership. He's a true point guard. And he played to win basketball games. But does that mean that he's the GOAT of point guards? He won in college, he won in high school, and he won multiple chips in the pros. Then, of course, there's Isaiah Thomas. It's just such a, I don't know if we can say douchebag. If anybody can check this, I don't know if he won at Westchester. I believe he did. Did Isaiah Thomas win a high school state championship, people? Can anybody clarify that? He definitely won at Indiana, and I believe he won 2 in Detroit. Such a prick. So I have to ask myself, what's valued? Who would I put as the point guard? Would you put a prick, defensive stalwart like Isaiah, who can get you a bucket when you need it, leadership, lead your team off the court after getting swept, turn your back on the team you've been playing against? Or you got Chef Curry. This guy can spread the floor for you. Might not be the greatest defender, can get to the rack. Dezo is in the building. What up there, fella? D's Weez.
It's good.
Hey, well, welcome. Hope you brought your mouthpiece. Now, we were just talking about, and I'll let you comment. You probably heard something. But Chef Curry, is he the GOAT? Is he the GOAT when it comes to point guards? If you're choosing your top team and you needed a point guard, we're not doing this, but Pippen at point and all this crap. Who are you putting? Now, I was considering Magic, Isaiah, Chef Curry, but you can have other people in mind. Is he the guy you're putting as your one on your top 5?
Well, I've come to the conclusion, and I've done this for, I'll probably do it for baseball too, but, specifically for football and basketball, I do eras now. I think it's like, it's just me. I think it's disrespectful to other players from other eras who didn't
play
play
under different rules.
Exactly. So I no longer, every position, or when you say the greatest at any position or the greatest of all time, like people do now, like they just do that for fun now. Everything they do, oh, he's the GOAT. So what I do is I do it by eras. The tricky part is when you get in the eras, so let's say, you get the 60s, 70s, which you might group together, but then when you get to the 80s, you get somebody like Mike, who came in dead smack in the middle of the 80s.
Kobe did that in the 90s. Go ahead, though.
And you take them into the 90s, it's kind of hard to
because
pick
of the overlap
in that era because it overlaps. So you
especially
can make
a guy like
argument.
LeBron who's played for 47 seasons.
Yes, exactly. But I've learned or the more I thought about it, I said it's disrespectful to other players who played at whatever position if they were in a different era. So to answer your question, I would go right to, I wouldn't be me myself. I couldn't say the 60s because I didn't get to watch it. And the 70s, I only got to watch like half of that because, I was too little at part of that.
Yeah. Didn't understand the game.
Exactly. The 80s, I could pick a player. The 90s, I could pick a player. The 2000s and so forth. And to me, to be honest, as you're speaking about Steph, man, something has to be said as well for hybrid players. Because although he plays point, I see him as a 2-guard / point guard. I don't see him as just a point guard. Because, honestly, Draymond Green is probably more of a point for their team than Steph is. So I don't necessarily see him as as a point guard per se.
He's like a tweener.
Yes, he's between a 2-guard and a point. And then you got a lot of players like that, man. If you really think about it over the years, Scotty, he was a point forward and a small forward. You know what I mean? He was like a point guard and a small forward in that offense.
Well, I would probably, and I know your point because they be talking about all these records and the most points scored in the playoff. Well, these guys ain't playing no defense and the rules have changed and And so what I'm saying is you got to look at percentage of the points scored in a game, percentage of the emails, because all of these stats are inflated. They're getting more shots at goal. They're just running up and down.
That's exactly why I say errors. That is why it's so important to say the error, because this era, this day, it's all about scoring. Same thing in the NFL. It's about scoring. So it's very tough to pick and choose. Now, let's say if we're saying for the 2000s, right? Who would you say is the best point guard for the 2000s? Man, I'd have to, we'd have to.
Well, Kyrie's a racist. You don't want to talk about him. You know what I mean?
We don't know what's in his heart.
Yeah, we don't know what's in Kyrie's heart. But I'm going to say this. If I had to select, though, fella, if these guys could play in this era.
Give me 3 people from the 2000s that you would consider as your best point guard of the 2000s.
2000s?
Or the 2000s. And see, it's tough when you think of them, those eras, man. It's really hard when you do it.
That's a different era even from what they're playing now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you almost have to say from the 2010s until now, as opposed to the 2000s.
Yeah, when you're talking about Chef. But if I am gonna do it, I was a Magic guy, and then I leaned towards Isaiah, but he's just such a prick. He's just a jackass. Big ups to Isaiah Thomas. Did he win a state championship at Westchester?
No, he won he was at St. Joseph.
St. Joe's. Yeah, did he win?
St. Joe's at Westchester. Yeah.
I think they did, because I don't think they played in the regular. At that time, if you remember, it was only like AA and A. And I think they might have been in the smaller bracket. I don't think that they went and played for like the city title, like all of the other.
No, they didn't have to pay the Negro League teams.
Yeah, they were in the suburbs.
Yeah. So,
but as far as state though,
you know what? Don't take for a second to find out.
Yeah, I'm asking Chat GTP.
I think he did. I think he won one.
I know he won one in college.
Then they went on to Indiana and won. And then
but if I had to pick one, one thing about Steph, his defense is lacking. That's important in my heart. I like his ball handling. He's been known to not show up in games where he's been needed, in series where he's been needed, but lately he's been doing so. If Isaiah wasn't such a prick, I would pick him, but at this point, I'm still going with Magic. According to the web results, Isaiah Thomas did not win a high school state championship. He scored 51 points in the state semifinal game against Franklin.
Damn.
No, this ain't the right Isaiah Thomas. This is the other Isaiah Thomas, because they're talking about 2006.
Yeah, it's the remake.
I should have said Illinois State Championship.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now, trying to see. I know they said it was a prestigious program, though.
He played with a coach. The coach was prestigious.
Coach there, yeah. It was all about that coach they had.
He sucked out all the poor black kids out of the ghetto.
Off the west side, and funneled them to Bobby Knight.
Yeah, that's what was prestigious about it.
All right, so Ace, would you put Chef Curry as your GOAT for greatest point guards of all time, going across eras?
Across the eras? Oh wow. Ooh, wow. That's tough. Right now, absolutely.
They made it to the state finals
in 78 and 79, and he lost both times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder who they was losing to. Evanston? Simeon? Who was they losing to?
No,
Simeon.
We'll see in a minute.
We weren't. Simeon wasn't. They were on the rise.
Hambrick wasn't there yet. Hambrick.
No, I think he was there, but he was building his bones. He hadn't got them going.
Oh man, cross errors now.
So who's your guy? I tell you, I would pick Isaiah if he wasn't such a prick. Honestly, and this hurts. Jordan even said that Isaiah
considers him the second best point guard.
Yeah,
Point guard.
And he probably would consider him the best if he wasn't such a douchebag.
Yeah. Point.
Somebody, you know, who can orchestrate your offense, run your team, lock down his position.
He stayed around 8 to 10 assists through the 80s.
Yeah, and he could shoot.
He could shoot. He was a killer. He had a dog mentality, so he could score when he needed
dog,
to.
and he had nice form. Boy, I remember thinking, man, whose form was better?
And that was the difference probably between him and Stockton, because Stockton, you know, Stockton was a motherfucker, man.
Oh yeah,
people. He's probably the most underrated point guard of all time.
Yeah. Yes, but he's in the Hall of Fame.
Underrated.
He is in the Fame.
He's in the Hall, but because he wasn't a dog when it came to scoring, taking over games,
closing out. Yes,
they don't give him that notch.
And see, and that's my knock on Steph.
Man, they the little rascals to me, man. Look, if you ever watch those guys closely, Golden State, when they own, right?
Yeah.
But if you got a team that know how to play deep,
yes,
they are the little rascals, man. They so freewheeling with the ball. All of them, from the starting five to the ones on the bench, they could care less.
And let me tell you what I noticed. They devalued the tweener shots. But let me tell you something. Come playoff time, those are the only baskets you're going to get. People closing out them threes. They got Anthony Davis down there in the paint blocking your shots. They will never stop and just take a damn 8-footer.
Hey, did you see? I've seen them several times have like a 3-on-1, a 4-on-2, and the guy will be in the paint and they throw it back out to try to shoot a three.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Who's teaching you that?
I don't even think that's Steve Kerr's philosophy. I think that's
it ain't. I think that's them with them the little rascals. I'm telling you, man. They carefree. All of that, man. All of them. Turn the book, man. If they played the Bulls, I don't care what year of them. You can pick the years they had Kevin Durant. They getting D'd up, man. They gonna have like 30 turnovers, like 30.
So man, who's your PG GOAT?
For which era? I could try to pick from the era.
Well, no, I was trying to ask Ace, but every time I ask him,
Ace, go ahead.
But look, he's frozen again. So, yeah. All right. So is MVP
just throwing the ball to the 3-point line? Yeah.
Who's your MVP GOAT? Ace? Who's your GOAT for point guard?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I can't give it to the pink guy.
Spit it out.
I can't.
See. We can't get him to spit it out before he freezes up. And then he don't even know he's frozen because he be talking when he comes back.
He's still talking, yep.
Yeah. All right, let's move on, Diesel. Is MVP more important to Philly's center than winning a chip? Boy, he sure was smitten when he got that MVP. Is MVP more important to Philly's center than winning a ring?
It's too much of the self. It's too much, if you ask me, these players, not all of them, but most of them, they're too self-absorbing as far as awards and
their brand.
And if the award, okay, let's say the years that you don't win it, make it fuel for you to go out and beat that dude who they gave it to and play him. That's how they were doing it in the 80s. They were like, okay, I didn't win it. All right, we got to play them. Let's see if you're the best defensive player. Let's see if you the best, they were guys were mad when they didn't win the scoring titles in the 80s. Remember when they cheated Oak? Oak didn't get cheated, but when he was with the Bulls and he's gonna win the rebound title, and then Michael Cage,
big ups to Big Oak.
They let like Michael Cage get like 30-something rebounds.
Oh no, he'd be under the basket missing layups on purpose so he could pad his rebound stat.
Man,
Michael Cage had a curl. This is Process Week, y'all on TATN. Michael Cage had a curl. Y'all ain't like y'all.
Yeah. He's not in the top 5 though.
But
all right, Ace. Before you blank out, who's your point guard?
I'm giving it to Isaiah. I hate it.
All right. What about LeBrick James? Nobody's talking about this guy. He's finally doing what I said, Ace. He's going down low. They're letting other guys bring the ball up, and things of this nature. But this guy is taking these threes. I would just let him shoot.
If they're going in, I mean,
but they're not going in.
Yeah, he's probably shooting like 30% or something like that.
Less than that in the playoffs. Yeah. Yes.
But who are they playing? They're playing Golden State. They don't want to stop anybody from
No,
shooting.
Their defense absolutely sucks now. It's nowhere near like it used to be. Used to be halfway respectable.
Oh, the D used to be good. Yeah.
They want the ball flowing up and down the court. So you shoot a three, you miss it. We take it down the court in 2 passes. We shoot a three, we miss it. Then they bring it back. You come back, you shoot another three, they miss it. Then we get the ball down in 1 pass and shoot a three, we miss it. That's what they want to play. But I'm definitely letting LeBron shoot as much as he wants to from past the 3-point line, especially at this point of the season. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So does Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverly Hills, do they deserve championship rings if the Lakers pull it out this year?
Well, they were members of the team, so yes. But the Lakers won't win.
Diesel.
No.
I mean, I'm going to agree with Diesel. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, they don't deserve no rings. I mean, they were if you were playing halfway decent, I'll say this. If they had to give a ring, you could give one to Russ because he did play better.
And he played minutes
off the bench, and he played a lot of minutes. And he was getting like triple doubles sometimes on that.
There needs to be a rule. I'm sorry. Listen.
I wouldn't give you.
If you're not on the playoff roster, you don't get a damn ring unless you were injured or something.
Those guys on the roster when the season started, it wasn't their fault.
And they were 11th seed.
They got
before
traded.
the trade, they didn't. Before the trade, they didn't even have a playoff seed.
It wasn't their fault they got traded and cut. Well, I guess it was their fault they got traded and cut because they were helping stink up the damn team. But
come on, Ace. This is a trophy. This is a trophy generation. It's a trophy generation, and they're part of it. I had to go back and when did everybody get the trophy thing started? Westbrook and Beverly are part of that. They're right at the tip of the beginning of that, and that's why they said, I wouldn't even want the ring, bro. I wouldn't even take the ring personally.
Yeah, I would. I'd sell it right at the Las Vegas pawn store.
Pawn shop.
That's Pawn Stars or whatever.
Boy, that'll go viral.
I'll take the picture and sign it.
Let the experts come in there and value the ring.
Yeah. This doesn't look like a signature.
All right, so we got 2 that say, damn it, they don't deserve a ring. And we got 1 who's a current coach who feels like every kid that laced them up throughout the season deserves a ring. To me, I don't even know why they want one. It should be beneath them.
Their parents want them.
All right, well, Diesel, we're going to give you some time because you weren't prepared for this. It says Process Week here on TATN. And we put together a list of our top 5 greatest athletes to rock a process, whether that be straight hair, curl. What's the guy's name who runs Black Lives Matter? Shows up there. Reverend Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton, yeah, Jesus shows me.
Yeah. Whether you got the Al Sharpton look or, the Bishop Don Juan look. But I'm going to start out with my number 5 on this list. And you might like this.
All right.
Tony Gwynn. People forget he had a curl.
Tony Gwynn had a curl?
Gwynn had a curl.
Well, he played a lot of years, so.
Uh-huh.
That.
Tony Gwynn. Man, you know what? I looked up, I remember one day, when he passed, not too long ago, I went and looked up I was just looking up his stats. Because I just remember, back in the 80s when the Cubs used to play him, and he always seemed to get a hit.
Yeah, all he did was go 4 for 5 against the Cubs. 4 for 5.
And he had a stat, and I could don't quote me, but I think this is what it said. Over his 20-something year career, he only struck out in a game 3 times, or 3 times or more. It was like twice.
Yeah.
It was something phenomenal.
And I bet it was probably against the same pitcher. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't 2 pitchers who did that.
That's almost impossible.
It is.
Man, that's like almost impossible. Over 20-something years.
Yeah, he had stick.
3 times or more.
Him and Rod Carew, boy, all they did was get hits.
Yeah, no interest in that in baseball nowadays. The chicks dig the long ball.
Well, and I think he batted 300 like every season of his career, over 300 like every season of his career.
Not every season, but his average finished.
His average is over 300.
Yeah,
his average is over 300.
So who y'all got? Y'all got anybody on y'all list as number 5 for
Oh yeah. I got him number 5. I got number 5. Go ahead, Ace.
Go ahead. Okay. My number 5, top pitcher back in the 80s. You might not remember his affinity for his hair, but I'm going with Dwight Booger Sugar Gooden.
Damn it, I forgot about Doc Gooden. He's going to make our all Booger Sugar team. We're covering this coming soon. Yeah. Big ups to Doc. I forgot about Doc Gooden, man. Daryl Strawberry had one too, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did.
Wow.
And it's funny because he brings me to my number 5, which is baseball. And I actually gave it a tie. So it was actually 2 people because I put it.
So you got an honorable mention.
Yes. Leon Durham.
Bull Durham. He's definitely got to be on there.
And I tied him with Mel Hall.
I forgot about Mel Hall. I don't think I've ever seen Mel Hall do anything. You know what I mean?
When he came in with the Cubs before he got traded, I think, to the Yankees.
What year was that? Like 77?
No, it was the early 80s.
Wow.
80s. Early 80s.
Okay.
Early 80s. Yeah.
Surprised I'm not more on the Mel Hall. All right, let's go to our number 4. Number 4 on the all-process Jerry Curl team, athletes of all time. I tell you what, it's been a lot of baseball so far. Who's your number 4, Diesel?
I'm going to go with I'm gonna give it to my boy here.
Now remember, we're taking in how good, but remember, we're taking in how good they play and how good their curl was. You gotta use that in your metrics. How good the curl was.
We had the goal since training camp to give Chicago a Super Bowl champ. Now we're not doing this because we're greedy. The Bears are doing this to feed the need.
So who you going with? Walking paper?
Man, who is that? What they call me sweetness, and I like to dance. The ball was like making romance.
He's got walking paper as number 4 on his all Jerry Curl team. Greatest athletes of all time. Walking paper. Number 34, baby.
All right, I got you.
Ace, we went over in the NFL.
Mr. Kangaroo, baby. Kangaroo.
Man, I bet the inside of that damn sweatband was dirty as fuck. Go ahead.
I'm staying with baseball for my first few picks. So I got a baseball Hall of Famer pitcher, and I'm going with Pedro Martinez for number 4 on my all-process.
Let me tell you something. Pedro had every pitch. He was a gamer. Pedro Martinez, let me tell you something. He was a winner. Yeah. He was a competitor. And let me tell you something. That curl was wet.
Yeah.
Even after games, man, his curls stayed wet. Pedro Martinez is your number 4, Ace. My number 4. Let's see who I got on this list. Oh, here's a guy you guys might know. Played MVP baseball season after season. You know, get up there in the playoffs and whiff, strike out. There's 3 on bases, and he's up to bat, and this is all what it's all about. He's at home. The fans are going crazy. Strike out.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly.
Andre Big Dawson. Andre Dawson. You know what I'm saying? He had a curl. His curl was like Lionel Richie.
Dancing on the ceiling. I got you. I see you.
Now he had a good quality curl, and he's an MVP. So this is, you know what I mean? Yeah. My number 3, all right, we're moving over to the NFL for me.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is arguably the best running back in the history of the game, but of course we don't believe that on this show. Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson. Y'all might have forgot about Eric Dickerson.
No.
Eric Dickerson. He kept his curl, and he kept his curl wet.
Moist. Yeah.
You know, there was people out there who had curls. Listen, let me tell you something, just real quick as a sidebar. If you had a curl, we're not really against you here.
No
those who had one who didn't. But the problem was when you had a curl and you couldn't keep it activated. Oh my God! Now you're just looking like dirty folks. But all right, who's got? Can we say dirty folks? All right, who's got? Who? You guys go ahead with your number.
You two have nothing against dirty folks. They like old block.
All right, I think we're on number 4 here.
I think we're at number 3.
Yeah, we're at number 3. You're number 3.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Must Be the Money.
Must be
like
the
Neon
money.
Deion Sanders call him prime time.
Must be the money.
Does he still have a curl, or did all his hair fall out from the chemicals?
No, his hair gone. His hair gone. Well, he still be fighting it with some of that. You know, they got that new stuff now. You put
you find anybody who rocked the curl for an inordinate amount of time, and they are bald head or have a bald spot.
He went to the Erlacher School of hair replacement. So
he got something going on. But prime time. His when he was with the Falcons, man, and the Braves.
Yeah, he did it across 2 sports and played Hall of Fame level in both sports.
Yeah. And his curl. And when he was in college, his curl was shining in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So, you know, we're encompassing everything, but when we're done with the list, we're going to say who had the best curl in all pro sports. Which, you know what I mean? You know, but when we're done with the list. All right, Ace, who's your we got Eric Dickerson and we got Neon Deion is number 3 on the list. Who's your number 3?
My number 3 I had down was Big Dawson. He stood up there coming from Montreal, rock hard muscles. Couldn't get it done in the playoffs, but damn it, he rocked his curls. So Big Dawson was my number 3 pick.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time. Chicks love the long ball. That's all he did was swing for the fence.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, he had no interest in moving the runner along.
But he was decent in the field, though, wasn't he? Defending
he
in
was
his
a gold
prime.
glove.
Yeah.
Cannon in right field.
Yeah.
And he was pure. I think the only chemicals he didn't have the steroids, but I think he had the curl.
He was doing the pull-ups and push-ups and bending and stretching.
You guys, I think the curl juice makes you a better player, and that's one thing I'd look at if I had a young kid today.
As a matter of fact, if you guys ever get a chance, pull up. You can put it on, Google it or put it through YouTube. When he hit 3 homers in one day at Wrigley Field. That's one of the loudest I've ever heard that crap. One of the other than when they were in the playoffs that year, went to the World Series.
Guarantee you the wind was blowing out.
Man, he hit. Well, the first one was a bomb, so it didn't matter. The second one
hit that ball, you moving on.
But they were going crazy out there. There wasn't hardly no brothers in the stands either. Like it always is out there.
Well, Diesel, go ahead and give us your number 2, and then it's on Ace. We want to hear your number 2 on the top 5 greatest athletes who rock a process.
Who did I have? I just had it too.
Well,
Ace,
back
to me.
Ace is he's configuring. Go ahead and give us your number 2 if you're ready.
All right. Well, my number 2 I got on my list is his initial stands for one of the biggest industries in the history of the world nowadays. ED. Eric Dickerson was my number 2.
Look at that. We both had Big Dawson. We both had Eric Dickerson. And my number 2, we both had Pedro Martinez. I got Pedro Martinez as my number 2. He's not foundationally black.
Yeah,
which,
right.
you know what I mean? But hey, man, that dude, I would have loved to have him pitching for my ball club.
Yeah,
curl or no curl.
Yeah, he had that arm that came from the old country. Man. It wasn't developed.
120 pitches.
Yeah.
Man.
No Tommy John, none of that.
Game 7, put him on the bump. But he was probably on the Booger Sugar if I look back on it all.
Yeah,
he did seem like, because he liked to hit people too.
Didn't he?
Love to hit back.
Yeah, he liked to hit people, and he liked
then
to
act like he can fight and get stole on all on the man. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Big Dawson was on it. There's a correlation.
He slammed Don Zimmer to the ground.
This should have been my master's project at school. You know what I mean? The correlation between Booger Sugar and your Jerry curl. All right, because a lot of them drug dealers had them too on the South Side.
Well, you know, if you got somebody to squirt it and work on it.
I got my number 2 now. Figured it out.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, who's your number 2?
I like to hit a home run.
Sammy, baseball been Betty good to me.
I forgot about this song,
baby. Yes, song. Boy.
I'll hit the most meaningless home runs in the game. Cubs are down 12-0. And Sammy comes up, solo home run.
His curl with the socks, man.
Yeah, I forgot Sammy.
Sammy's
white. He can turn into Michael Jackson.
He looks like a monster got a hold of something. I don't know. But
like when you saw ghosts. All right, Ace, go ahead and give us your number 1 greatest athlete. And this, again, you guys, you could have had Michael Cage on the list if you wanted. These are guys who have showed great athletic skill, and they didn't just have a dirty curl. You know what I mean? They kept their curl clean. All right? So this is important.
For the work this man put in, on the field, off the field, and still to his last days rocked it. Walter Sweetness Payton is my number 1 Jerry curl athlete of the century.
Oh shit. Sweetness, you love Sweetness curl. I saw Sweetness curl. He take that helmet off. Big ups to Sweetness. He's my special mention. He didn't make my list. You guys would be surprised to know. But hey, I can't knock that. Number 34. You know, Ace is high on Sweetness's curl. He said he kept it nice. You did though when you saw him at events and stuff. His curl was,
I mean, he rocked it proudly. You know.
Yeah.
Connie helped him with it outside of the games.
He occasionally
wasn't
let it get
like
a little
dirty
bit
folk.
like occasionally he let it get a little like
correct.
Luther's, like Luther's
but see y'all talking about him pre-game or post-game and press conference.
Yeah, you out here looking like dirty folks.
Yeah, you got it. Come on, man. He just played for 3 hours out there, and the elements of Soldier Field.
We're not talking about clean folks. There were some folks out there who had a clean curl. You be like, look at him. He's a GD. His curl's clean. Because the brothers at a certain point, they was like, man, you can't put that shit in your head. It's a violation. Get head to toe out there. Well, that's the next show we're going to cover on the self-love show. All right. But
Walker Payton.
You know what, Ace? No. You know what, Ace? I'm wrong here, but go ahead. Tony Gwynn was my honorable mention. So my bad. My list is off. My number 5 was Big Dawson. My number 4 was Eric Dixon. My number 3 was Pedro Martinez. Okay. My number 2 was Deion Sanders. That's my number 2.
Let's turn in Deion.
Is Deion on your list, Ace, or are you saving it? Yeah, I mean, have you mentioned him in your list so far? I know Diesel has.
I haven't.
All right.
The video is flashing in my head. Must be the money. So he's going to be my honorable mention.
Yeah, you got to have Deion on this list.
Yeah,
I mean, you know how many kids got curls because of Deion?
Yeah, must be the money.
I was just always afraid, man, the ball might come my way. It's a pop-up, and that curl juice get in my eyes.
He had the gloves. He had the gloves. Wipe the gloves off before every play.
All right. So who's your top athlete, Diesel, that rocked the curl? And come on, we want a quality curl here.
Oh, it's gonna be quality. My favorite person at this position, my personal favorite at this position. And again, I used to say all the time, but I say if he's there, he's my favorite at this position.
Sounds like he's going with Michael Cage out there.
No, sir. Beware the silver, beware the black, baby. Had the greatest postseason of any cornerback to this date.
Was he on Booger Sugar?
Lester Hayes, baby.
Oh yeah. See
That's-
the correlation? See the
That's
correlation? I could have done my dissertation. I think he had Booger Sugars too.
He had that stickum, so he might have had some Booger Sugar with it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they was on Booger Sugar. It was the Raiders. It was on Booger Sugar, steroids, whatever.
They was on everything. They was on everything.
Whatever you give them.
And Orlando Woolridge, before he went bald, he had the curl, and there was another one we had. Quentin Daly had the curl. Here's a correlation. That's what I'm telling y'all. There's a correlation between Booger Sugar and
Jerry Curl.
Yeah. I always wondered about Dion. He was a little too flashy out there, and he was from Florida too. You can't. They put Booger Sugar in their coffee out there in Florida.
Yeah, but now he's one with God. So
I don't know if Lester Hayes was doing anything other than
he went through the transition
with the stickum. But he had a man. I mean, his curl was shiny too, man.
Didn't he paralyze somebody?
No, that's you thinking of Jack Taylor.
Daryl Stingley.
Yeah. I went to school with his nephew at William A. Trey, and I did research. It's the oldest public school in the city of Chicago. Yeah. However, it's not in the top 5 academically anymore, and that pained my heart. You know, I've been espousing the school. I'm gonna show up now. Let me talk to these kids. You know what I mean?
They're sending the kids up to north to Walt Disney School, and
is that what they're doing? I need to have a talk with those kids. You know what I mean? Back in my day, all y'all would have been in the LD classes. You know what I mean? You're sitting here on your phones in class, and you should be studying your lessons. But my number one, and Ace, I have to apologize, I do have walking paper as my number one.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Kangaroo himself going
Mr.
up that hill with the curl and the headband.
Headband, yeah.
I remember my mama brought me some kangaroos home. Yeah. Walter Payton with it. Yeah, well, Tony Dorsett does it. Let's get these back to the store. You know what I mean?
Get your refund right away.
All right.
Tripping.
So we did our top 5. This is process week here on TATN.
I also want to mention my real honorable mention. Coach Moultrie.
Hugo
scored
Moultrie.
four touchdowns in a high school football game and in the Lutheran League.
In the private Lutheran League.
Yeah, he rocked the process, and damn it, he needs to be recognized.
Yes, he's a 5'2", 140-pound guard, and was all Lutheran private league.
Yeah,
that should tell you something. He wouldn't have made the C team on Simeon's Frosthoff. You know, but big ups to him. We're not going to take anything away from him.
What about your boy? Look like he had like one of them light porn star curls.
Who? Dallas Cowboys?
Reggie Theus.
Reggie Theus. Hey, let me tell you something. Reggie Theus kept his curl wet.
Yeah. Well, he was. I don't know. What color was he?
He was some sort
black
of
and something. He was mixed with something.
Yeah, one of them guys you see down in New Orleans somewhere running around.
No, he's down there in Bethune-Cookman University stealing money.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the athletic director.
Well, big ups to Reggie Theus. We don't know what's in his heart.
Yeah, we know what's in his heart. He's stealing money. He was on one of our shows when we were talking about the HBCUs, but yeah.
All right, Reggie Theus. All right, y'all, we're going to move on. We got our burger of the week. I'm only going to play the sound. Fair use.
Fair use.
Very interesting.
This is this guy's North Carolina Republican candidate or some shit.
As a thank you,
and he's black.
To what he had to say, and it's full.
Let's see what he has to say.
Glory, and then we will talk about it.
Some people that were talking about reparations in this country. They wanted reparations. And I remember I made this particular liberal so angry at me because I told them right to their face, nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes.
Whoa.
Why do you owe? Because somebody in those fields took stripes for you. Somebody after those fields were ended and slavery was ended, somebody had to walk through Jim Crow for you.
Yeah.
Somebody fought wars and died for you. Somebody lived less than because
the white people ain't even clapping.
What you have, and they did it for you.
You'd think it was a comedy
people
show.
in their graves right now.
Yeah.
And they are
Like
dead
Chappelle
because they
acting
refuse
like
to stand up and fight for
a
you.
Republican or something.
Those folks on the Edmund Pettus Bridge carrying
So,
American flags, take that, Colin Kaepernick. Living in a society that he could scarcely acknowledge. Something that he has never known. Living with a bigotry that none of us can imagine.
Right.
Carrying American flags on that bridge. And when they were hit upside the head with nightsticks and shot with water hoses and knocked to the ground, they got up and picked those flags up and kept marching.
All right. So I guess he's saying not only do.
All right, you guys. That's our booger of the week.
I think we got to go back to raccoon of the week.
Wow. Okay. I want to try to take this as serious as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, he's saying that because our ancestors made those sacrifices, we owe reparations. So who do we owe these reparations to?
To our dead ancestors, or to the government?
Man, listen. Some people will say anything to try to win us an elected seat.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it be, let me just say the opposite of what everybody knows to be true, and maybe I'll get them people on the other side to start backing me up. And they'll just say some crazy outlandish stuff like that. It's just ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Well, Trump said the Republican backers were so stupid, you could tell them anything, and they would back him. And
and they'll forget it, and he proved that. Look how he showed you, like, hey, look.
Well,
I can
and I
control
agree.
these people.
I agree with Trump, and I agree, and I feel like the liberal backers are just as misguided at this point. We're about to vote for somebody who's 100 years old. Chances of him living out his term and not having dementia. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying, man, and who still hasn't done anything for the Black community.
No,
I don't understand any people of color that if your views or if you don't want to be a Democrat, whether it be liberal, moderate, whatever, if you don't want to be a Democrat, right? I don't see why you could say you want to be a Republican.
Yeah.
Be an independent.
Yeah.
Be an independent, because how could you go to this side if you already know what the get down is for the most part, for most of them? Now, sure, you got some people who just vote Republican for taxes and money or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you know, it's a high percentage of those folks that they're all about power, white power, supremacists, control, racism. So
70% of conservatives, when polled coming out of voting, said they thought that Black people were subhuman.
70%.
60% of Democrats who came out after polling said they thought that Black people were subhuman. So we're talking about 10%. But go ahead.
And again, that's why I say I don't see how you could be on that side voting. Say you're an independent. Be an independent. Why do you need to go affiliate with this side? And the same thing can be said for people, for Democrats, with all of the stuff we've been going through forever and not getting anywhere.
Man, they're moving all these people into the schools that they closed down. Diesel didn't have funding for those schools in your communities, and now they can fill them up with undocumented immigrants.
Immigrants, yeah.
You know, there's funding for all of that, but they just went through a whole thing about no funding to educate the kids.
Man, I get so upset and mad over certain stuff. So I just like.
I hear you, especially we're in a public forum.
I say, hey, listen, be an independent, man. Make your own. Quit listening to, because you may have some stuff that says, well, my views are over here. But then there's going to be other stuff where you say, hey,
I don't agree with that. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Be an independent. That's just my personal view as far as people of color. But it's like they scared to get into that to that middle. They're scared to get into that middle, maybe for whatever reason. And I'll listen to a lot of the majority of people of color are Democrats if they're publicly known, right? And I'll listen to them talking, and they'll be making some real good points and some real good issues and things of that nature. But again, I'll go back to what have they done when they've had control
of everything,
the presidency,
correct,
the Senate,
correct,
and the House. They would do nothing. Absolutely
and that's
nothing.
been proven. So Ace, before I throw it to you, what are the chances of that booger, if reparations were passed, what are the chances of this guy turning down the check?
He's definitely not going to turn down the check. He's going to probably use to get some more of that booger sugar so he can make another speech like he just did concerning reparations. But I want to talk about a local election I had here where I went in to vote. And one of the, I was going to call it something else. One of the melanated poll workers they had, she was like, what are you voting? Well, I said, I'm not voting Republican. So she's like, well, then you're a Democrat. I was like, well, I'm not voting Democratic either. I'm part of the thinking party. Well, we don't have that here. I was like, you don't think? She was like, no, we just don't have no thinking party here. You got to vote Republican or Democrat. I'm like, I'm voting in the election. So give me the ballot and I can go vote for whoever the hell. I don't have to declare who the hell I'm voting for.
I don't have to declare anything to you. Right.
Right. But, that's Chicago politics. That's the nation's politics. You got to declare who you want to vote.
But if you were voting in the primary, you do got to declare. You don't have to.
Yeah, I did, but it was just I just raised the argument that she said I had to be Republican or Democrat, and I told her I was part of the thinking party, and she had no concept of what that was.
Of course not. They're not getting paid to think. So that's our booger of the week. Let's go ahead and jump to the topic because the self-love show's starting shortly. All right, so Phil Jackson, you guys, he's in the...
You don't know what it's in his heart.
Well, I've been trying to, defend this guy.
Done.
So the actual quote from Phil Jackson was, you can't hold up the whole team. Now, this is the posse comment. When he talked about LeBron and his thug posse. You can't hold, and LeBron didn't even play for him. You can't hold up the whole team because you and your mom, they like to talk about our parents.
Yeah.
And your posse.
Let's try to call his mama's trampers. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's why LeBron was mad. Because you and your mom and your posse want to spend an extra night in Cleveland. Phil said this in an interview with ESPN's Jackie McMullen while talking about LeBron James' season to leave the Miami Heat and return to the Cleveland Cavaliers. This quote sparked a lot of backlash from James and his posse, who felt that Jackson was using a racially insensitive and disrespectful term to describe them. Now, at the time, I didn't know what was in Phil's heart. I'm like, man, come on, man. Your posse's on Broadway. And Phil's a liberal. He's Jerry Garcia, show up at all those
bullshit.
Hippie.
Yeah, he's a hippie. But if you guys think that some of those hippies don't think that we're animals, we're disillusioned.
Right. And he said he tolerated Dennis Rodman doing his thing when he was playing for the Bulls because Michael Jordan said it was okay. But what he was calling them when he had to take his couple of days off and go to Vegas and kick it and come back. He was calling them Moody on some kind
lazy, irresponsible Moody.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe somebody, because he was dating the Lakers owner, Jeannie Buss. So one of those black guys might have did something to her, and I don't think he's okay with that.
Jeannie Bust, B-U-S-T. Yeah. And y'all remember before that, he sat Pippen down. Well, he was going to have Pip inbound the ball. Pip refused to go into the game in the playoffs when Jordan was swinging at baseballs. And designed to play for Kukoc. Even at that time, it felt funny to me. That felt a little racist, but I felt, that was a time when you was pulling a race card.
I felt Pip shouldn't have been inbounding the ball. He should have been an option if he was a true decoy.
At least
he should have been an option.
Yeah, at least
on
at the top
floor,
of the key or the other
where
side.
they're going to try to double him.
Yeah,
which would leave Tony open for whatever play that you actually had drawn up. But for him to be taking the ball out, that was just absolutely dumb.
Asinine. You could have one of them other monkeys.
Can't be explained. What's your take on the posse comment, Diesel?
And after a while, what's funny is we tend to give people as they get older, we give them a little leeway when it seems like the mind kind of start to go out a little bit.
Yeah, when they turn into Al Campanis and Howard Cosell. Supposed to put them out the pasture by then.
Make little different comments and stuff. Even Jim Brown, we give him a pass on some of the loose stuff he starts saying.
I'm waiting for Biden. I'm waiting for Biden to fall apart. Bunch of dumb moolies.
But he ain't too far gone.
His wife already did.
Comments. He made comments. Phil Jackson made these kind of comments back in the
younger.
90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's something there. Just because he's not like that with every person of color, we know a lot of people who are
like
shady
that.
People.
You're right.
That aren't like that with everybody.
You're right.
But inside, they still holding that stereotype.
But you don't know what's in their heart.
You don't know what's in their heart.
Yes, nobody knows.
Right. We don't know. We don't know. But we assume that, hey, okay, we've seen it before. so
man, they could be hanging somebody in a tree, and then the media would be like, "But we don't know what's in his heart." You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes.
So so that was it. The posse thing, the Kukoc thing, and I'm sure there's more if we dug into it. But I'm now.
Well, you know what Pippen said about him.
We're getting there now. Jackson did not apologize for the posse comment, but he said he regretted talking about another team's player and that he did not understand the connotation of the word posse. The word posse struck a chord with LeBron, who had surrounded himself with childhood friends during his career. Jackson's language touched a flashpoint at a time of heightened racial tensions in America. But I just want to play this soundbite here.
Summer of 2020, the Black Lives Matter.
Fair use.
Popularity.
Fair use.
Better and older than me. White lives matter. You've had everything. Free everything. Blacks have been coddled for years. Free college. Free everything. Your test scores are higher.
She's so racist. She's like, your test scores are higher.
And this was the response from
10
white
minutes
America.
ago.
Black lives don't matter. All lives matter.
From the Proud Boys.
Do Black Lives Matter or do all lives matter?
To the wheels being in motion at Fox News.
He's un-American and he doesn't deserve to be in our country.
All white.
So
all
that's
lives
To
matter.
years
all white,
prior with Colin
all
Kaepernick.
lives.
So you won't say Black
All
Lives
right, let's
Matter.
go forward.
These actions
Let's get to Phil's
Rustin Shesky in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and the unfortunate.
Some people get tired of hearing me say it, but we are scared as Black people in America.
Thus, in response, LeBron and his fellow NBA player Adam Silver, the commissioner, he would reflect on a podcast.
Okay,
Adam
we're
Silver, the
getting to Phil
commissioner
right
of the
now.
NBA, would discontinue those messages the following season. One of the greatest coaches the game has ever seen, Phil Jackson, despised all of it. He would reflect on a podcast with Rick Rubin. They did something that was kind of wanky. They did a bubble down in Orlando, and all the teams that could qualify went down there and stayed down there. And they had things on their back like justice. They made a funny thing like justice just went to the basket and equal opportunity just knocked him down. So my grandkids thought that was pretty funny to play up those names, so I couldn't watch that.
You're sitting up watching a game with your grandkids and y'all think it's funny when justice passes the ball to equal opportunity? When somebody shows you who they are, believe it.
Jalen didn't even marry a sister.
So stop watching.
Jalen Rose, a former NBA player and current basketball analyst on ESPN, laid into Jackson. Phil and his grandkids made light of the NBA and NBPA agreeing on these approved messages that players were allowed to wear on their backs. Some notables like LeBron James and Nikola Jokic chose not to have a message. For Jackson, who's won 13 championships, 11 as a head coach, it was just too much for him. He'd continue. They even had slogans on the floor, on the baseline. It was catering. It was trying to cater to an audience or trying to bring a certain audience into play, and they didn't know it was turning other people off. People want to see sports as non-political. ESPN's Jesse Washington, a journalist and documentary filmmaker, would read.
That's why we got politics. So now, if you take that individually, you know, each thing that Phil's doing, if you take it individually, you're like, okay, we don't know what's in his heart.
Right. But, you know, to tell you, because, you know, the main thing I got out of that was he was telling his grandkids that equal opportunity and justice weren't things that they should be considering as being human beings on this planet. Now, first of all, you told me that he was a hippie, a liberal from whatever era back in the 70s, but, you know, I would have to reinvent what he was into being, he was a, you know, he just did drugs back then. And you covered that up by calling him a hippie. But now you're fast forwarding to an era where you have incidents where your grandkids, your children, people that you know will understand that you were quote unquote a liberal and will want to put out a message of equality and justice for the world. And you told them that's not what you believe in.
Well, yeah, because they want to keep their sports like the cocaine pure. So these are
it has nothing to do with sports. Don't tell me that you don't want to watch the damn game because there's justice and equality on the damn court. Don't give me that. That's the way you feel.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Diesel.
I don't, like I said, he should start to show his true colors. You know.
Yeah.
That's his get down. That's what he's showing. He had shown like signs in the past before.
When he wrote the book about Kobe, then came back and coached them.
Now, you know, the stuff he said with the Pistons, like, you know, they some thugs and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't mind, because to me, they was thugging out.
I didn't mind it either. That and isolated, but then looking back on it all.
Right.
But then you look back on it, and then you say, well.
He said it about the Knicks, Indiana.
Yeah, that was thugs.
Yeah. He was using that term. Now, let's say if all of the Pistons happened to have been white.
He wouldn't have used that term.
No.
Tough. You know, they're tough.
Gritty.
You know?
Tough as nails.
Yeah.
Grinders.
Yes. Smart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the Celtics. You never heard them call them thugs, and they was
dirty. Especially when they got older.
Yeah.
That's where the Pistons learned it from. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way I'm running down court. We're gonna trip you.
Pretty dirty. And they had probably more white players than black players.
Oh yeah. Well, they had Dennis Johnson and the Chief, but that's about it.
Definitely the city was.
Their bench was filled with white players.
Yeah. They had Danny Ainge. He was dirty.
Yeah, definitely.
Bird, McHale, Ainge.
Yeah.
Walton.
Bill Walton.
Yeah.
What was that dude? Joe Klein? Was that his name?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he just come in there to tackle you.
Man, it was a few of them like on that bench. Only person I think I knew on the bench, like I said, Dennis Johnson, the Chief, and Cornbread Maxwell.
Cornbread Maxwell.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't think of.
Yeah.
That was about it for the brothers on that team.
I mean, come on, his name was damn Cornbread.
Yeah, Torrey said Pippen flat out called him a racist in that interview he did with Dan Patrick. Yeah. And Dan Patrick was trying to go there. We don't know what's in his heart. Pip was like, what does that tell you? Right.
Yeah.
Pip went hard, man. You know, and the funny thing about racism is the worst thing you can call a black man if you're not black is the N-word. And the worst thing you can call a white man is the R word.
Yeah. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
They don't really get mad at.
It affects them monetarily versus affecting us emotionally.
Well, yeah, and in that movie, you know, I see dead people, but they don't know they're dead. You know, we need one. I see racist people, but they don't know that they're racist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know,
sure.
You do a little skit on that. He's running around. You know. All right, but go ahead and give me your final words, Diesel, and then I'm gonna throw it to you, Ace.
For this Jackson stuff, man, I don't even want to talk about that. Put too much energy on him.
Yeah, it could be on anything. Final words.
Say what you want to say.
Final words. Let's see. What could I say? You know what? I talked about. I ain't been on here in a while. The Sox. Kenny Williams.
I shit it all over the Sox. Go ahead,
man.
Last week you should have.
I wish you guys would have. If I should have just came on and made some comments before the season started. You know, they were stupid for letting Abreu go. He was your main run supporter. He was loyal to the organization.
Glue. Yeah,
he was
glue
getting
in
for
the
a discount for most of the years he was there, and you let him go for really nothing. You got nobody to replace him. You went and tried to depend on these guys who've shown that, for the most part, other than TA, they're really like role players. Most of them, they're unproven, and they're unproven because they're conditioning. They're always hurt. TA is the only one that's been hurt.
Were you about to blame Kenny McReynolds?
No, I'm saying Kenny
Williams.
Kenny Williams needs to let go of Hahn. That's what he needs to do, because he pretty much gave Hahn the reins to do what he wanted as far as the team. And he's choked. You let Abreu go, and you depended on these guys who are they're inconsistent mainly because of their availability. They're never there. TA, I say this, when he's not there, is because of he got broken hand from getting hit by a pitch, and then he gets hit on the base pad. The other guys, they're like self-inflicted wounds.
Soft tissue.
Moncada. Yes, Moncada. Eloy, man, you can have him pinch hit once a game, he'll get hurt. I mean, it's like, man, I can't. But yeah, Rick Hahn got to go. And they actually got a pretty decent starting pitching staff, but their bullpen sucks. They didn't get their bullpen better. Yeah, it's really sucks to be a Sox fan right now. Really,
I mean, 11-23 is garbage. Fire the manager, fire Kenny McReynolds. But I'm a North Sider. All right, we hear you, but we hear you though. We won't get into that next week. These guys are 11-23. But go ahead, Ace. Let's hear your final words.
No, I mean they got time. They got time to come back. But my final word is on the Phil Jackson travesty. I don't know what was in his heart, but apparently, you know, just like the current, Milwaukee Bucks coach that rode the coattails of an MVP, candidate to a championship and was later fired because of his lack ability to really coach the team. You know, was Phil really this quote unquote guru or coach, or did they just fall into an era when Jordan was in his prime and Pippen was in his prime and these players was in the prime, and all you had to do was roll a damn ball out there, and they were going to win championships with a Michael Jordan, with a Kobe Bryant, with a Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, don't forget he backdoored Doug Collins. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, he was coming from the CBA.
Yeah, remember he was doing all that politicking and talking up, going to the boss, and Doug's not doing this, and Doug's doing that. There was a lot of that going on.
Yeah, so it benefited him monetarily. Now he can go to his ranch in the shithole. I mean, I can't call it the shithole states in America, but his state of Montana, and teach his grandkids to be racist. But Phil, just shut up and go away. They want to tell the players to shut up and dribble. Just shut up and go away. You don't want to be associated with the NBA anymore. You don't want to watch it anymore. You don't want to feel like the messages that the league came out for the majority of its players, which were equality and justice and Black Lives Matters. If you don't want to be part of that, stay on your ranch in Montana and, teach your little grandkids whatever you want to teach them. But your comments are not needed. Your presence in the NBA is definitely not needed. Your presence for the Bulls apparently is not needed, and it's not needed for the Los Angeles Lakers. So take yourself and stay in Montana, go fishing, whatever the hell you're doing now, and keep to yourself and keep your comments to yourself and let the rest of the world try and progress. Those are my final comments.
Well said, fella, and I'm going to take a different spin. Phil, these nuts, keep talking. Display your ignorance. Maybe this will wake up some of the diaspora, some of the foundationally Black, to keep that side eye open, even when you're talking to hippies or so-called liberals. Malcolm X stayed on their ass. He said they were the worst ever. Phil, I can no longer defend you. You come in with your bringing in that triangle offense and making Jordan play like he was pink. It was all about that. Sitting these guys down when they could have been on the court more. If you guys might remember, I used to be mad at Phil a lot. A lot of those games we won in spite of Phil Jackson. Man.
Yeah, made some dumb decisions.
Dumb decisions. Blew a lot of games, a lot of regular season games, a lot of playoff games. Kept Michael Jeffrey Jordan from getting this record or that record, but you brought in all these and made it all about the system, and everybody's so smart. You got to be smart.
Triangle wasn't his anyway.
No, it wasn't his. No, he didn't invent nothing. And he used to call the Black guys Dobermans. When you look back on it all, I don't know. I don't know what's in
defense.
Yeah.
It might as well say, let me put monkeys out there and then play defense.
I don't know what's in his heart. I mean, I don't think he's like that guy. There's levels to racism, or are there? But I don't think he's like that guy in Atlanta. Remember he used to give the Black guys books. Jordan said he never read them. You know what I mean? I'm going to teach you guys how to read, and assuming they don't read. He's probably giving them the Cat in the Hat, stuff like that, and see if you can read this. But small ups to Phil Jackson, man. Let's
small.
get it together. Yeah. And that's pretty much all I had. Go Cubs. We're still in third place. Proud of my boys. They doing what they came to do.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Go Bears.
And I give one shout out on the Sox for his defense. Your boy, center field. What's his name?
Mouthpiece. Jesus Shuttlesworth.
For the Sox.
Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Yeah.
Who cares? 11-23. Collective.
Well, they got a new manager. They got a new manager they brought in.
You got to give it to him. That defense he's playing is Gold Glove out there.
Okay, but the rest of the defense sucks. They got the worst.
Yes. You ain't lying.
If you guys don't want to fire Kenny McReynolds, BMX Sports, you better fire everybody else in the organization.
Yeah, we're gonna fire
the GM. Got to go. Kenny Williams
got to go, and the
fixing
coach.
the team no more.
Yeah. Well, he hired the guy, so at some point he's gonna have to take responsibility.
Jerry Reinsdorf likes hiring from within. So you hire a guy from within the organization, you bump him up.
Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't know his ass from his mouth these days. I'm just saying these days, fella. You don't see Jerry Reinsdorf.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
But he likes to hire from within. So you can't just go get people from other places and say, hey, I want to hire this guy. He's gonna put him through the ringer.
Yeah.
They got this bum coach we got from Kansas City here that's 11-23. So somebody's got to go.
Yeah. All right. So if you ever find yourself sliding through the city of Long Beach, Compton, Inglewood, Might even be dipping through Chi. Might be out west on Laramie. Over east on Stony. Might even be dipping down Austin. Keep your head on the swivel. Check your six. Watch your back. Watch that blind spot. Guard your grill. Knuckle up. And don't forget to. And don't forget to.
What?
Process week, y'all. Catch us on Self Love Show coming up next. Can you be down and still have a process?
Self Love Show, baby.
And don't forget to. And don't forget to. And don't forget to bring your mouthpiece.
Yeah? Yeah? Yeah?